Hello. Good evening, everybody.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
My name is Benito Vasquez, and I am one of the co-founders
Buenas
of
noches.
Theater. Thank you for being here with us today. We're here to celebrate the inaugural En Su Casa Short Film Festival and Competition. So thank you for being here. Today we are...
Hola, ¿qué tal? Gracias por estar aquí.
Go ahead, Jorge. Oh, I think we're having some internet issues here, but sorry.
Estamos teniendo un problema.
Let me go ahead and just so today what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually start off by meeting some of the filmmakers in our festival. We'll start off there, and then we'll get to hear a little bit about their films, and then ask them a few questions about the importance of shorts, the importance of having Latinx representation in this industry, and questions of the sort. So we'll get to hear their thoughts on that. I just wanted to also go ahead and thank our sponsors. The City of Houston and the Houston Arts Alliance have provided us a small grant to put together this festival. So I want to thank them, and I also want to thank our partner Seed and Spark. And you know, we were able to put this festival online because of our partnership with them. So thank you to them as well. I also want to remind our audience, for those of you watching, that if you do have any questions for us or for the filmmakers, please go ahead and put those questions into the comments, and then we'll gladly get to those. And so, Jorge, are you online? You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. How you doing? My name is Jorge, and I am one of the co-founders of Theatrix. And delighted to be here. Delighted to you on the live stream, and much for being here. Hola, mi nombre es Jorge Díaz y soy uno de los cofundadores. Bienvenidos a que nos estamos aquí y estoy súper emocionado de estar aquí con todos.
Thank you, Jorge. So, just to talk a little bit about this festival, this is our first time of creating content, film festival for young audiences. And so we did curate this festival with young people of all ages in mind. So this festival really has a little bit of everything for all ages. And really, I can honestly say that it's for the entire family. The festival has films that touch on some light topics and then some way more serious topics. And so I think that you'll find that each block really brings some unique stories that everyone in the family can enjoy. So go ahead, and if you haven't already, go ahead and purchase your festival pass and check out some of these films that you're about to hear about today. All right. So let's start with our first filmmakers. I say two. This is a duet here from Los Angeles, California. Let's see if let's bring them on and say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Elohim and Mercedes. Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves? Tell us where you're talking to us from, and then tell us the name of your film that's in the festival, and maybe just a little bit about that film.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Elohim and Michaela. I am coming live from Los Angeles.
I'm Mercedes Chavez, his mom. You want to tell me? And our film is Quarantine Life. And do you want to tell them about your idea?
It's about being in quarantine, waiting for my dad to come from
Virginia.
He
was at his job,
work.
and we hadn't seen him in I think it was like 4 months or 5 months that we hadn't seen him before this happened. And of course this happened, right? And we just really missed him, and so he came. He drove all the way from there, and he slept and lived in our van
and
for 17 days.
And he would always come to the back of the backyard, and I would play my keyboard for him. And I felt really sad that he couldn't be with us. It was very sad because I wanted to hug him, I wanted to play with him, but I couldn't because he was trying to protect us.
Yes, wonderful. Yes, please. So Elohim's and Mercedes' film really captured the heart of why we put this festival together. Honestly, we knew that because of the pandemic and the quarantine, that there was a lot of kids at home with their parents and really questioning what was going on in the world. What, why did they have to stay away from loved ones? Why couldn't they be at school with their friends? And we really we wanted them to explore those feelings and those experiences through the art of film. And so we wanted part of this festival is the at-home competition, video competition, where we wanted families, friends, whoever was quarantined with each other to use whatever they had at home to tell a story, to tell us what they were going through this pandemic. And Elohim, your film just does that beautifully. We loved it, and I'm excited for everyone to get a chance to see this film.
I just wanted to say that he has really seen. I found out about this film festival online through his Instagram, and then I told him about it, and I got so excited because it's really affected us like everybody else. We still have family members. My father and my other son, who's older, come here. In fact, my son's here now, and we're still far apart from each other, so we still don't hug. We talk to each other from far, and it's really difficult for us. So thank you for the opportunity. He has been a light, and I'm so glad I told him just run with it. Direct yourself, and you tell me what I need to do with my phone, and just have fun with it. And he's just such an inspiration for me, because I think what I love about what he did was you can see the light. Like, he's just so positive through the whole thing, more than me. So.
No, yes, absolutely. That totally reads in that film. The sort of there's this sort of routine of having to keep life keeps going, and a positive attitude, and then there's this little hint of I don't know. I kind of felt sort of a little bit of like heartbreak or frustration that just pulls the heartstrings. Anyways, I hope the audience can get to see it and really experience the wonderful film that you both put together, and again, really exemplifies exactly what we wanted this festival to be. So thank you for sharing that with us and sharing your story.
Thank you.
We'll get to talk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. So we'll get to talk a little bit more and get your thoughts on a few other things, but I'm going to go ahead and bring in Angel and introduce our next filmmaker for tonight.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Hola, Ángel.
¿Qué tal, Benito? ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, bien. So, Ángel is coming from us. ¿De dónde los estás hablando, Ángel?
Venezuela, la isla de Margarita, Estado Nueva Esparta.
The island of Margarita from Venezuela. Wonderful. Muy bien, muy bien.
Sí, señor,
Dinos
margariteño.
sí, dinos de tu, qué película tienes aquí en el festival y un poco sobre la película.
Ok, bueno, el nombre de la película es Degradado, el corto. Y surgió por una idea de un acontecimiento personal de un primo que sufrió de asma en un momento en el que se quemaba mucha basura aquí en la isla. Entonces, como una especie de denuncia hacia esa quema de basura descontrolada en la isla, surgió la idea. Es ahí donde salen las mejores ideas, de algunas
Sí.
experiencias personales o, bueno, de cualquier parte.
Sí. Yes.
¿Y qué otra cosa le podría decir? Bueno, fue realizado por 2 personas únicamente y solamente con imágenes, como se dice, transmitir el mensaje, prácticamente. Sin diálogo, solo efectos de sonido, imágenes y que tengas bien claro la idea, perfecto el mensaje. Que creo que se logró.
Sí, 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 muy bien. Angel was just telling us that his film really focuses on a true story of his cousin getting asthma due to the burning of garbage from where in his area, in his neighborhood, and he just wanted to use images to sort of tell the story of that warning of what this can, what damage this can cause to our community. And so, Angel, muchas gracias. Thank you for sharing that film, and I can't wait. Espero que todos la disfruten como la disfrutamos nosotros cuando primero la vimos. So, gracias
Muchas gracias.
por compartir.
Gracias a
Ángel,
ustedes.
y ahorita seguimos con la plática y con unas preguntitas, ¿ok?
Claro, perfecto.
Gracias.
Aquí estaré.
All
Okay.
right, so let's bring everybody back on. Let's just start the conversation here. I do want to say one thing now that I have everybody. We were supposed to have 3 other filmmakers today, all of them from Puerto Rico. Sadly, because of the tropical storm right now, Puerto Rico is being hit yet by another storm. They are still in recovery, and they are have lost power, and so they sadly could not be with us here today. We checked on them today, and they seem to be safe. They just didn't have the power and electricity to be able to join us today, but they're here with us in spirit. I have a few of the answers to the questions from them that they were able to send to me before I lost communication with them. So I'll talk a little bit about Yoktan Hernandez, Christian Silva, as well as Anthony Ortiz Gutierrez, who were supposed to be with us here from Puerto Rico. But let's continue the conversation here because I really want to hear what you all have to say. I want to start off with the question of why are short films important? Do you think? ¿Por qué son importantes los cortometrajes? Esa es la pregunta. So let's start with Ángel. Empezamos contigo.
Ok, bueno, como dije, puede servir cuando está hablando contigo, Benito, puede servir de algún tipo de denuncia, puede servir para que la gente en la comunidad se dé cuenta de algunos acontecimientos que otras personas afuera no se dan cuenta y nos podría ayudar para contar historias. Las mejores historias son donde no la podemos encontrar. Como decía, mientras más muestres, mejor llega el mensaje y mientras menos digas, más concreto te puede llegar el mensaje. Solamente con imágenes puedes lograr una buena cinta, un buen film.
Yeah.
Y bueno, me parece que es importante que la gente empiece con los cortometrajes porque te vas a conocer, básicamente.
Very good. Sí, muy bien, Ángel. So Ángel was just sharing with us that really what the shorts gives you the power to do is to give a big message with not a lot of dialogue. Like just some imagery, and that's enough to tell a powerful story. And the shorts, the sort of using short films it's just a good way to learn how to tell a story in a succinct way before you move on to longer feature films and things like that. So, gracias, Ángel.
Sí, bueno, disculpa que te interrumpa, pero bueno, tienes más oportunidades de centrarte en detalles que por lo menos en películas con un gran equipo no te podrías centrar. Entonces, esa es la clave del cortometraje y es uno de sus puntos a favor que tiene.
A ver, dime otra vez, perdón.
Que en cuanto a cortometrajes, te podrías centrar más en detalles que a lo mejor en films no te das cuenta. Y creo que mientras más detalles tengas en tu corto, más claro te puede llegar el mensaje y más transmites.
Muy bien, yeah. He says in shorts, you're able to really focus on the details, probably more so than a long feature film. And so focusing on those details really help you tell the story. Muy bien.
Exactamente.
Gracias. What about Elohim and Mercedes? What do you think as far as why are short films important?
I definitely think, well, I'm going to do it from his perspective because he is the filmmaker here.
Yeah.
Is that he gets, I think you can really utilize your imagination for him as a child. I think it's really great to see that different age ranges can make a short film if they utilize they're able to write down their stories, right? And then create, for instance, tell them he loves to play with toys, and
I have a big imagination.
And he creates stories and he writes them down.
I still write them down in my journal. What happens when it happens.
And then with the stories, with the short films, I think that you can really target the community of people that you want to see it. I think it's a lot easier to get those people to see a short film, and of course faster, and there's just so much more, I think, creativity that you can utilize within that.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. It's just you have a short moment of time to really put out an impactful idea that's important to a specific group of people, and these shorts are powerful in that way. So yeah, wonderful. Thank you. I want to share your Yoctan Hernandez answer to this question. He said, "Short films for me are a different way to tell smaller but important stories. It's a way to share your heart and the things you believe in." And so I think I read this somewhere that the shorts really, a good short story is usually told by what you know and what you really are passionate about. And that's what makes a short film really impactful and really great, which is not, which is similar to what you were all saying. So thank you for that. All right, let me move on to the next question. This is a good one. I want to know what or who inspired you to make your first film. ¿Qué te inspiró, te inspira, o perdón, quién te inspiró a hacer tu primer película, tu primer cortometraje? So this time we'll start with Elohim and Mercedes.
What inspired me to make films? I think it was my teacher. I went to an acting class. He wrote down things. He wrote down scripts for us, and how he just wrote, I really loved it. He used his imagination. His imagination, and that really inspired me to go back home and to start writing and making my own films. Also.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's many times it begins with a teacher, right? So it's those teachers that inspire us to push us to be creative and do great work. So thank you for sharing. Ángel, ¿qué te inspiró a hacer tu primer cortometraje o tu primer película?
Bueno, yo he realizado cortometrajes desde hace bastante tiempo, ya que yo estudio cine aquí en Margarita. Y bueno, esta en específico me inspiró fue lo que te comenté anteriormente del ataque de asma que sufrió un familiar, mi primo, para básicamente contar una historia y sin decir nada explícito, criticar una cosa que están haciendo las personas en la isla, los vecinos.
Sí.
Entonces, creo que eso fue básicamente, en este corto fue lo que me inspiró.
Muy bien, muy bien. Jorge, do you want to translate a little bit what he said?
Oh, okay. Sí, me agarraste pensando en otra cosa. Dice que una de las cosas que lo inspiraron a él es que quería demostrar lo que algunas gentes en la comunidad hacían y sin hacer algo muy explícito, lo logró hacer y fue lo que lo inspiró para hacer este cortometraje.
Oh, you heard it in Spanish and then translated it in Spanish, my friend. Your brain is working only in Spanish.
I'm so used to do it the other way around. Well, he said that what inspired him to do this film was that some of the things that the people in the area where he lives that were doing, it inspired him to do this short film, and with not being very explicit, that he was able to tell the story that he wanted to tell.
Yeah. I want to read Yoktan's answer to this one because I really like what he had to say. Yoktan says, I think the art itself, really. Of course, I follow so many great filmmakers and somehow I want to be like them. But once you start, you discover your own voice. And I think it's very important that you go through that. So part of the journey is finding your own voice as an artist, right? And so does anybody have any comments on that? Que Ángel estaba diciendo que lo que dice Yoktan es que parte de la inspiración es hallar tu voz como artista, como
creador.
Ajá. ¿Qué piensas de eso?
Bueno, la verdad es que la inspiración puede venir de cualquier sitio y básicamente tienes que tener talento y saber lo que estás haciendo, estar muy centrado en lo que estás haciendo para contar y crear cualquier tipo de películas, cortos, mediometrajes, largometrajes, comerciales, trailers, etc. Entonces, creo que cualquiera lo puede hacer, sí, pero no todos pueden tener la clave exacta para transmitir un mensaje que se quiera, que tú quieras lograr en un corto o en una película.
Perfecto.
Creo que es lo que pienso.
Jorge, you're on mute. Jorge, you're on mute.
Perdón, no estaba poniendo atención porque estaba haciendo otra cosa aquí y no alcancé a escuchar todo lo que dijiste. Si lo puedes repetir, por favor, para traducirlo.
Bueno, lo que me comentaba es que la creación, la inspiración puede venir de cualquier parte, como he comentado anteriormente, y que
that inspiration may come from anywhere.
Y que cualquier persona puede lograr hacer una buena historia mientras tenga claro lo que quiera realizar y tenga claro algunas
Anybody can tell a
claves.
good story as long as they have a clear thought and idea of what they want to do.
Y que tenga claro algunas claves cinematográficas para poder lograr ese mensaje.
And as long as he's had a clear vision, like with his cinematography and the things that he wants to tell, anyone can tell a great story.
Wonderful. Muy bien. Gracias, Ángel. Elohim and Mercedes, I have a question for y'all. So I know you talked a little bit about your teacher sort of being the inspiration for you. And so I kind of want to ask both of you, why is it important to inspire the next generation of storytellers? Because I think once young people watch your film, Elohim, I think you're going to inspire some people, some young people who've been thinking about doing it, and now you show them that it can be done. So why is that important? Why is it important to inspire that next generation?
I think it's important because if people want to do this, they shouldn't hold back from it, right?
Mhm.
Trying to think.
I think also what you're trying to say is to create change. I think Elohim, you have a lot of ideas.
Mhm.
You're nervous.
A
He's a
lot
little
of
nervous.
ideas.
Right. And that I think that we all have different experiences, as we've talked about before, him and I. We all come from different places. And I think for Elohim, being that he's also mixed, he's African American too. We've talked about kind of the feelings or the when we've talked about his feelings or what he's going through or experiencing. For instance, we are right now, we're staying at my mom's house, and she's in Montebello, California, which is in Los Angeles. It's in Los Angeles County, but we're in a predominantly Mexican neighborhood. And sometimes Elohim goes through experiences where he's sometimes treated differently, or he doesn't know, he doesn't always feel comfortable with what how do I say this, with what race he is, or he just kind of feels confused sometimes. And so that's kind of what we've been talking about lately as far as telling a story about that, because for our next film, because that I'm certain a lot of people experience that, a lot of children, especially right now with a lot of things that are going on in our world. I think that when we discuss these things and we speak out loud and he writes and he has his ideas, we can help other children feel, do you want to say?
Feel, I forgot the word. Feel
like they're not the only ones going through this.
Feel like they're not the only ones going through this. There's other people going through this with them. They're not just the only ones. They're not by themselves. They're not going through this by themselves. They're going through it with other people.
And it's, I mean, and also that's not the only experience. I just think right now is a very
tough time.
Right.
For kids also, because I thought this was never going to happen. I wasn't even thinking this was going to happen. Now, for my like, when I'm a kid right now, I'm going to remember this when I'm older, and it's just sad that I'm growing up through this also. I thought I was going to. I'm still happy about the life that I have. But I think what I'm trying to say
is that our experiences, of course, are different right now. I mean, there's just so many things that you could do with filmmaking and with children, because they're so, I mean, he's just so innocent and he just loves life so much. But to just be hearing like even the conversations of what's going on in our world, not just the pandemic, but everything else that's going on in our world is really tough. I see it, we talk about it. And I think that through more stories, if we can, and also he plays music and composes songs, and he sang about the pandemic at the end of the movie. Yes. He created that song. And so that's another thing that he enjoys doing, and we want to put in his films is more music that was created from a poem about missing the skate park. But we've also created some other songs. We do plan on creating maybe some short, like some music videos and other things where kids can relate. Anybody can relate to the experiences he's going through. And I say specifically kids because, of course, he's a child. And if children see him, and they'll, of course, those experiences that they see, they'll be able to relate.
Absolutely. Sometimes it just takes being able to see someone that you identify to feel, hey, I can do it too then. I can do it. And that's exactly what both of you are doing, and exactly the message that's going out there is you're not just going to inspire kids. Believe me, there's going to be adults. They're like, wow, this is pretty amazing. I can do this too. And we're going to create future artists here, future films that are going to come out because of your film and what you're saying right now. So thank you for sharing that. Jorge, did you have something to say?
No.
Okay.
It's. I mean, it's great that he's so young and he's already telling stories, and that he's it seems like he's passionate about what he's doing. And we're talking about, I mean, the question is like, one of the questions is about the next generation of storytellers. And it's like, well, he is the next generation.
Exactly.
We're looking at it right now. And he's the future, filmmakers that are going to be out there, and they're going to be telling their stories. And one of the things that I find really interesting that he says, it's that his experience as a mixed child, that he's he's trying to find his place. And I get chills because I love it when people want to tell their stories, and they're passionate about telling their stories. And it 20 years from now, 30 years from now, if it continues in this path of creating, who knows? The sky's the limit. The thing is that he's young, he's passionate about it, and I hope he continues to be passionate about it. And 20 years from now, we'll be seeing him on the big screen, getting his Oscar, and thanking his mom for putting him on En Su Casa. And we'll be able to say, you know what, we were the ones that showcased his first film.
Awesome.
So thank you so much. Thank you for creating, and keep creating. Keep that imagination going. Keep that creativity going. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. There's no such thing. I always say there's no such thing as bad ideas. It's just ideas that may be out of time or out of place, but they're not bad. It wasn't probably the right moment when you needed to tell that story. But there's no such thing as bad ideas or bad stories. Just a matter of timing.
Yeah. So let's move on to Ángel. Ángel, ¿por qué es importante inspirar la próxima generación de cineastas?
Bueno, estamos ahorita en una situación bastante complicada con respecto a la pandemia, el COVID, la cuarentena. Bueno.
So we're in a very tough time right now that we're going through a pandemic. Voy a traducir mientras vas hablando, Ángel, para que sea un poquito más fácil.
Ok, perfecto. Bueno, entonces estamos en esa situación bastante complicada con lo del coronavirus, entonces podemos fijarnos en cosas que no nos habíamos fijado, y es
right now we're going through some tough times, and there are things that we might not look into it right now because of what's happening right now. So it's a good time to tell stories. Adelante.
Como el cine para mí es como una fotografía. Básicamente se basa en fotografías, en diferentes tipos de cuadros, y como una fotografía queda en el tiempo, el cine también lo queda en el tiempo, y es importante siempre ver y conocer a las próximas generaciones de cine y de cineastas que vamos.
He says that films are like a picture, and whenever you take a picture, it's like taking time and standing still, and it's there. So films are just like a picture, but with different frames in the picture, and it's a good way to start with the young generations and for the new filmmakers that are coming up.
Perfecto.
Entonces es importante para seguir mostrando a la generación que viene, como los que están presentes acá, que sigan creando. Y, bueno, como su corto, tuve la oportunidad de verlo y buenísimo, pues, demasiado bueno.
It's important to let the young filmmakers to tell their stories, and he saw his short film, and he liked it. It was great.
Yeah, he got a chance to see Elohim's film, and he said it was great. Ángel, sí, tienes muchas razones. Más que nada hay que darle el espacio para poder, la herramienta que se ocupa para que puedan crear esta nueva generación, los jóvenes, para crear sus historias. A veces nomás ocupan una oportunidad y puede causar cosas maravillosas. So, muchas gracias, Ángel, por compartir tu
Nada.
respuesta.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think Angel brought up a great point. And sometimes we just have to create a space for young filmmakers to be able to create and giving them the tools they need. I think that's exactly what Mercedes did with her son, allowing him this opportunity to experiment, to play, to create, and then being able to showcase that work on this platform that we created specifically for young people as well. So what a great point to make. Let me read what Christian Silva said about this. He put, there's new upcoming filmmakers on the way and they're out there. It's important to let the young filmmakers know that all you need is to put focus into your work, even if it's low budget. It's possible. It is important for them to know that teamwork is also important. Teamwork and determination will be the key to make films possible. So that was from Christian Silva, one of the directors for one of the films in the festival. That's a great point, right? Sometimes you don't need a lot of money, and most times for short films, there isn't a lot of money. And so it's about taking the creativity and telling your story. Does anybody want to comment on that or
Sometimes
Bueno,
the
sí,
budget
yo,
is zero minus zero.
yeah.
ahorita tenemos la herramienta que son los teléfonos y con cualquier aparato electrónico podemos crear, solo que nos hace falta es la creatividad.
So
Perfect.
right now we have the means, we have phones that we can create things, and we just have to use our creativity to do it.
Yes. All right. Speaking, I know the topic of identity sort of was brought up a little bit already, but I actually wanted to hear your thoughts on why are Latinx filmmakers and producers important to this industry? Why should we be telling Latino stories or Latinx, whether it be for us, Latinx encompasses the entire diversity of Latinidad, which is Afro Latinos, the LGBTQ Latinx population. Why is it important that we're telling those stories, that we're represented in this industry, that we not only are we telling our stories, but we see each other on screen, on stage. Does anybody want to take on that topic? Elohim, Mercedes, you want to start?
I always have a conversation with Elohim that I used to act a long time ago, and I always tell him how really, for me, I'm Mexican, and I don't see really any change. There's been a little bit of change in history.
Oh.
I don't see a whole lot of change from when I was young, and that was so long ago. That was years ago. And for us, I think there's one show we like
On my block.
on my block. And although it's not always appropriate, of course, for his age, but we love it because we can just together relate to a lot of the things on my side of the family. Because my husband is African American, but on my side of the family, we can relate to those things with a show like that. And do you want to say anything about that? How you feel, or?
I think Latinx people should be
We have
represented more on movies, TV shows, different things, because like what my mom said, there's still not a lot of change in the industry that has Latinx representation,
so that we can feel like we can share the experience, of course, through art and through TV. It feels so good, right? I know for him it does.
Yes.
Especially more children's shows, I think, just nice, telling stories about families and a lot of the experiences that we all have. as Latinx in our culture, the experiences that we have, really the positive experiences, right? Just like when I love when he decided to eat the tortilla with the chorizo. I mean, how many of us, right?
Yeah.
How many of us get up in the morning and we want chorizo and, a flour tortilla? It's just so nice to see. It would be nice to see more
of that.
Right.
Absolutely. Celebrating our foods and our culture. Yeah.
Right. Everything, our music, it just makes a big difference, I think, in our lives. And especially, again, right now, not going to get into politics, but right now it's just so important because I think, and I know he probably won't talk about it on here, but him and I have talked about how some things have been said in politics about our culture. And it's really hurtful. And I hear it from him. It doesn't feel very good, does it? And, we talk about it a lot, and it just makes us feel real uncomfortable. And and everybody else that, even my husband being African-American, what he's going through right now, besides the pandemic, it's a really tough time. And so it's just so important to have this representation and just to move forward with it now. I think it's really, it's almost it almost should be done immediately with all of, all the different people that we have to be represented.
Absolutely.
In the arts, in film.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. I totally agree. It is such an important time right now to lift these voices up. And honestly, people do not think about some of the rhetoric that comes from adults that kids are listening to and how it affects them. It's such an important point. Kids are listening, and it's important what we say, and it matters, and those words are hurtful. And so, how do we combat that? Sometimes we have to combat that by celebrating us, by celebrating our stories. And that's what this is about, and that's what your film is about, and that's why I love it. I love it so much. So thank you. Very well said by both of you. Ángel, ¿por qué la pregunta es por qué es importante los latinos o Latinx? Yo no sé si se usa ese terminaje en Venezuela, en la industria del cine. ¿Por qué es importante que nuestras historias, nuestras voces, que nosotros los veamos en la pantalla?
Bueno, creo que una respuesta bastante fácil sería la diferencia cultural que hay entre naciones. Los latinos tenemos una diferencia cultural bastante amplia con respecto a otros países.
He says that one of the things is like the culture, that the difference in culture in countries, like in their country, they have a very white culture about some of the things that don't have here.
Creo que lo comentaban anteriormente las chicas y usted, Benito, la música, la comida, la manera de pensar, la manera de vestir en algunas partes. Creo que eso nos distingue bastante de la población en general.
He says that the music, the food, the sounds that that identifies us and identifies our community.
Sí, creo que eso para mí es lo que yo pienso, y cuando vi a Alfonso Cuarón o a Emmanuel Lubezki ganar Oscars con Roma, con Children of Men, me parece que es maravilloso que un mexicano, un latino nos represente.
He says that he loved it when he saw Emmanuel Lubezki win an Oscar, and Alejandro dijiste, Alejandro Iñárritu, Alfonso Cuarón win Oscars. That feels really good to see a Latino, achieving those goals.
Thank you. Gracias, Ángel. I wanted to read Christian Silva's answer to this question. His answer was, foreign films have always been acknowledged for great cinema, but there's a new wave of filmmakers coming from Latin America and the Caribbean, and it's important by the fact that there isn't many supporters for young filmmakers yet that they unite with other filmmakers to create beautiful stories. And the fact that there are so many good films and short films out there from Puerto Rico, especially this year, there's been outstanding feedback. So that was from Christian Silva. Yoctan Hernandez said, there is still an existing problem of giving Latinx filmmakers a path to this art. There are great opportunities like these festivals, but sometimes it's very hard to see the Latinx representation, and it's important that it's there because it's still a voice, and our voices need to be heard. So, wonderful answers by our Puerto Rican brothers that couldn't be here today.
Una cosa para Mercedes y Elohim. I don't know if you guys have seen Gentified. Look it up on Netflix. It's a great show.
Still.
Gentified.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that show. I love
We've
it.
been wanting to.
Yeah,
we saw some.
you should check it out.
I
Yeah.
saw.
I can't wait.
So is there? We're about to wrap up here. We're almost done. I just wanted to open the floor up to the guests, to the filmmakers. Anything else that you would want to talk about? If it's a last comment about your film, or about welcoming people to come watch this festival, or any topic that you would like to talk about or that we haven't discussed. I want to open up the floor to you. I don't know if we have any questions here from the audience. Maybe there is. One second. Give me.
Mientras estás buscando, Benito, yo le traduzco a Ángel. Ángel, si quieres agregar algo, si tienes algo que agregar de tu cortometraje, o al menos para invitar a la gente nada más que mire tu cortometraje en el festival, algo que quieras agregar.
Bueno, sí, me gustaría que más gente siguiera creando y siguiera enviando sus cortos al festival. Y bueno, yo estoy en la espera, también estoy rodando otros cortos, también los mandaría con mucho gusto y me encantaría seguir participando en cualquier festival o en cualquier competencia que ustedes hagan.
So he says that he would want everyone to continue to create and to send out their short films to festivals. He is right now working on other shorts right now, and he will continue to send it out, and he would love to be part of our festival when we have another one, which we will have in November. En noviembre tenemos otro festival que se llama La Vida es Cortos, Ángel. Si te interesa, también puedes mandar algún cortometraje o algo que tengas para mandar. Nada más
Perfecto.
lo buscas en Film Freeway como La Vida es Cortos y ahí puedes mandar tu cortometraje.
Excelente.
All right, we had one question here that we can let from the audience. They wanted to know how filmmaking will continue to happen. Here we go. What will the future of film look like with social distancing still in place in the future coming months? So, any thoughts on that? Jorge, feel free to also jump in here. ¿Cómo será el futuro del cine con el distanciamiento social en los próximos meses?
Bueno, de mi parte, yo podría decir que o sea, las industrias están tomando bastantes medidas preventivas con respecto al virus y creo que es oportunidad de que nuevos creadores, personas que no se han dado a conocer aún, hagan su aparición, por así decirlo, ya que de todas las tragedias o de todas las cosas malas que se puedan venir, hay que sacar algo bueno. Y creo que hay que
the industry right now it's taking steps to deal with this virus, but it's a good time for new filmmakers or filmmakers that are not very well known to take this time and keep creating and doing their work. ¿Algo más, Ángel?
No, gracias.
Very good. Mercedes and Elohim, feel free to either answer that question or add to whatever other comments you wanted to add as we wrap up here.
It's just a very, even though it's a very sad time, it's a very, I think, exciting time. Of course, anytime we have painful times or changes, you know, throughout history, it's a time to really create rather than just
not doing anything. I think you should create, keep working on different things.
Stories, right?
Stories.
Because, for instance, right now he's not telling me what he's writing about, but he's been in the closet writing with a little light. And so I'm just curious. We're going to talk about that later on. But, you know, it's just a great time. I mean, usually when we're not in quarantine, we're out and about and we're going everywhere. Well, now we can't, or we don't want to. So we stay home. And it's just, for us, we've changed. I think what's keeping us going also, or for me, what keeps me going is his creativity. It just is just such a light. And I think that if everybody could have that sort of light in them, whether it's making films or drawing or even just, I mean, it could be anything, right? Yeah. I think that it will keep our community and our world at a better place if we're creating
absolutely
something.
And you hinted towards another movie. So what's next? What's next?
I'm thinking about a horror film.
Oh, I love it.
And of course, my idea, because of course I feed off of him. My idea is, I mean, he has all the ideas, but of course, there's one I really want to do. So when we go, I have him go skateboard every day, just to get out of the house, and because he's also an actor and he's been training a lot. Working hard, taking his music classes. I mean, he's constantly training right now during this time. And so we go outside and what do we call the people that aren't wearing masks? Zombies. So that might be a little bit of a hint of something. But yes, we always, we say there's a zombie there because they're not wearing a mask, and then we go the other direction instead of getting mad. Yeah. I'm thinking something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
I love it.
That's pretty good. That will be a comical horror movie.
Yeah.
I think that the future of filmmaking right now, it's going to take a while before it gets back to normal. Even though there's a lot of productions on hold right now, they have to take the precautions that they need to take before they start going full blast like they were before. So right now it's kind of like on hold, and whatever it's doing something, they're rewriting a lot because they can't really have a lot of people on set. So it's like it's going back to rewriting and then doing making everything more accessible to, because it's pretty expensive to, when you think about all the money that they have to spend on the precautions that they have to take for people to be wearing a mask and to disinfect everything that's in the studios or wherever they're filming. So it gets pretty expensive. So they're having to do a lot of rewriting, and it's gonna be a while before it gets to a point that it was before. So unfortunately for a lot of people like myself, that means that there's gonna be limited work. There's not gonna be a lot of work. So yeah.
Great. Ángel, ¿qué es el próximo proyecto que estás trabajando o tienes algo en mente?
Bueno, sí, con un grupo de compañeros hemos estado trabajando en varios cortos para mandarlos y a ver si tenemos alguna oportunidad, ¿no? Pero en el próximo proyecto sí
He said he's working with other friends on a new project so that they can send them out, and I think he has something done already that he can send out.
Perfecto. Ojalá lo mandes para La Vidas Cortos, our other festival, Life is Shorts. We would love to see your submission. So I want to just say thank you
Por supuesto.
to. Sí, gracias. I want to say thank you to our guests, our filmmakers. Thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your beautiful answers to the questions today. I think our audience is going to be excited to come and see both of your films and really see the entire lineup because all these films are tell unique stories and passionate stories. So thank you, Elohim, Mercedes, Ángel.
Thank you
Muchas
so much.
gracias por acompañarnos, and we look forward to continue to celebrate the work you've done this whole week. So, thank you again. All right.
Muchas gracias a
Thank you.
Mil
ustedes.
gracias. Mil gracias a todos. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting us show your films and keep working, keep creating, keep that imagination going.
Great.
Gracias, Ángel. Mil gracias por mandar el corto y espero
Perfecto.
que sigas inspirado y creando. Y amor, paz y creación, no puede haber nada mejor que eso.
Exactamente. Muchas gracias a ustedes. Gracias, Benito. Gracias, Jorge. Un saludo, Elohim y Mercedes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So,
Can
that was a
you put us back? Can you put us back to the backstage so no one can see us, Ashley? We're done?
we're going to wrap up. So, first of all, I want to say to get your tickets, and to get more information, go to our website. Is www.theatrics.org/En Su Casa. Pueden obtener ahí boletos y más información en theatrics.org. En Su Casa. So please visit us, purchase your festival passes at our Seed and there you'll find a link to take you to the Seed and Spark Festival page where you can purchase your tickets. I want to remind everyone that on Saturday, if you do get your festival pass, then you'll be invited to a wonderful conversation and workshop with Claudia Reese. 3 of her films are being showcased in this festival. She's a wonderful animated film artist, and she also has 1 live action as well. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about how her career as an animated filmmaker, and show us a little bit about how much goes into making just a short scene of one of her films. Maybe Aileen en la Luna, maybe El Niño y la Noche. So it's going to be a fun and very educational workshop for anyone of all ages that wants to know a little bit more about animation. So please join us, buy your festival pass, join us this Saturday at 4 p.m. Central Time. And we look forward to another great talk and another learning experience. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're grateful. Let's celebrate. Let's go watch those films. And then send us your feedback. Vote for your favorite film. Thank you.